All right, good afternoon. My name is Jake Peterson, and I'm a member of Group 2 for Management 300. And today we're going to talk about a small mom and pop shop called Walmart. Today we're going to talk about some of the problems that they've had. We're going to explore some of the solutions and see where it takes us. Walmart, to understand, we're going to look at their history a little bit. In 1950, Sam Walton opened his first dime store in Rogers, Arkansas. Today, Walmart has grown and operates over 5,000 stores. That's both domestically and internationally. But they've had their issues. A lot of them comes from their management of their employees, and it also comes from their overbearing approach to low prices. That's really hurting American economy and American manufacturers as well. We've also seen from our research that they push a lot of their political pressures onto their employees, especially this is being an election year that we found. But the two main problems that we're going to explore today are going to be the bribery and their unethical tax loophole exploitation that's really taking the American tax dollars out of the United States and really hurting the American economy. Walmart has a huge impact on domestic and international economic policy, and it's prevalent. And so we're going to talk about that today. And to talk about our first problem with our bribery is going to be Destiny. So Destiny.
I'm Destiny, and I'll be talking about the bribery scandal in Walmart. In April 2012, the New York Times reported that Walmart management had bribed government officials in Mexico and that 30 executives were being accused. The company refused to release names of the executives and stated that the company would foot the legal bills for any executives that were touched by the scandal. But of course, names got out. It is alleged that Eduardo Castro Wright, the vice chairman of Walmart de Mexico, was a driving force in the bribery scheme when he was the chief executive of the company. He retired shortly after stories were published accusing him of bribery, but would not comment about the allegations publicly. Following his footsteps, former chief administrative officer in the United States, Thomas A. Mars, stepped down. Following him, the general counsel at Walmart's Mexican division stepped down, and H. Lee Scott Jr., Walmart's chief executive, stepped down as well. These men were among a list of many that held critical positions when the scandal was released. Walmart de Mexico is a highly successful business for Walmart, as 20% of all of Walmart's stores worldwide are there. But this may be a result of systematic bribing that the company may have done for years. Bribes of more than $24 million were used to help grow the business in Mexico by obtaining permits to open new stores more quickly than would have been possible if the company had adhered to Mexico's laws. These bribes seem to have been hidden from Walmart's global headquarters by disguising them to look like normal legal bills, ultimately resulting in accounting fraud. As soon as Walmart's headquarters were aware, they launched an investigation into the bribery scandal. They found evidence of the very least suspicious activities and decided to shut down the investigation. The company, through this case, was very clearly informed about the violations of U.S. and Mexico laws, but still decided to discontinue the search anyway. The company may have done this to save face, as its reputation for high ethical standards is one known worldwide. These bribes may have violated the U.S. laws under the Foreign Corrupt Practices Act that was created for the purpose of making it unlawful for entities to make payments to foreign government officials to assist in obtaining or retaining business. By this definition, Walmart very clearly corrupted the law. In addition, this act asks that companies keep books and records that accurately and fairly reflect the transactions of the corporation, which Walmart definitely did not do. According to the New York Times, $500 million is what the bill came down to. Since the scandal in Mexico, some sources have said that cases have been recorded of bribery in India, China, and Japan. This brings up the question, does Walmart have ethics training in its company? And if so, why are these problems arising? So a couple solutions to this problem are going to be presented by Brandon.
Bribery scandals, like this one in Mexico, can be a huge problem for companies. In addition to the legal trouble, Walmart's reputation with its customers and suppliers took a huge hit. Some consumers already have a negative opinion on Walmart based on their business practices, and unethical acts like this only strengthen these opinions. There are several ways you can combat problems like this, but all of them require dedication and hard work to eradicate the problem. German conglomerate Siemens AG can serve as a role model for Walmart in this situation. They're a large German engineering company that provide services like healthcare, infrastructure, and energy, but they were found to have paid more than $1.4 billion in bribes for government contracts. After the cases were settled, Peter Solomsman was brought in to restore the company's reputation. He replaced many of their high-level executives, as well as redesigning their company culture, reinforcing their ethical codes of conduct, and increasing their training. Siemens has also since gained a reputation as one of the most transparent companies in the world. There's a lot that Walmart can learn from Siemens. Replacing their high-level executives, while effective, will be difficult for such a large company to do. According to a study of foreign bribery cases, 53% of bribes involve corporate management or their CEO, so this may be a necessity. But this is only the first step. Walmart will also need to rethink their company culture and ethics. According to Zoe Terrell, training coordinator of their Belleville, Illinois location, Walmart now has an open door policy, so employees can report to a manager without fear of punishment or retaliation. They also opened a website and hotlines for their employees to anonymously report unethical behavior. New policies to promote ethical behavior have been put into place, as well as computer-based training programs to teach these. And Abdul will go over some of our plan of action and the evaluation of these solutions.
After that, Walmart shut down the investigation. The company failed to give the name of the top officials who were involved in the corruption scandals. Walmart did the investigation, but after finding the truth, Walmart decided to shut down the investigation. Walmart closed down the inquiry because they were worried about the evidence could ruin the Walmart name. The people who were hurting the business are removed. Walmart took the precaution to preserve the reputation throughout the investigation and to keep the integrity of Walmart strong. Walmart had more difficulty and costly taking the time to remove these employees from the corporation in the best course of action. Soon after, management can begin to develop structured programs and training to help and teach employees about ethical behavior.
Hi, I'm Giovanna, and I will talk about our taxation scandal, our second problem. So many people go to Walmart to buy individual things to a cart full of items. But is Walmart paying for the expenses taxes that they say they are accurately? Well, in 2007, the Wall Street Journal had a front page story claiming that Walmart has been avoiding millions of dollars in state corporation income taxes each year. How is a large company like this able to get away with it? According to the same article, Walmart uses a system called REIT. REIT is an acronym for Real Estate Investment Trust, which is a systematic approach where a company sells the equity and ownership of the individual stores to an internal owned real estate company created by Ernst & Young in the 1990s. So Walmart was buying real estate companies and then paying for the rent, and the rent would go automatically back to them. It was estimated by Citizen Tax Justice that Walmart avoided about $2.3 billion in state tax payment between the year 1990 and 2005. Once Walmart was outed, the REIT scam was quickly deemed illegal. North Carolina Department of Revenue, one of the first agencies, picked up on these scams and passed a provision that required guilty companies like Walmart to pay $33 million in back taxes for 4 years period. Seeking for reimbursement, Walmart tried to sue but was rejected by the Supreme Court and set a legal example for these types of crimes. During the lawsuit, Walmart accidentally revealed more wrongdoing than they were taking part in. Not only were they avoiding taxes, they were also skimming the state sales tax and avoiding item sales. In 2008, Good Job first stated $6 million a year was being collected by Walmart, but none was reported to the Internal Revenue Service. Lawsuits were quickly followed. Good Jobs First also reported that $73 million of state and local sales taxes revenue were still being held by Walmart to this day. Despite the $4 billion in annual revenue and $13 billion in profit, Walmart turns to illegal business practice and tax evasion to fund their operation. Walmart still relies on government for a large percent of expansion of capital to today. Even though Walmart provides jobs and low prices, we can now look over the tax fraud and evasion that strips states and local government of tax income and that could go to public service like schools, parks, and environment. Now we have Brendan to give you the solution.
Walmart's actions avoiding paying taxes, while they're unethical, they aren't completely illegal. They take advantage of tax havens and loopholes to avoid paying some of their taxes, but according to the U.S. Treasury Department in 2014, Walmart paid more than $6.2 billion. That's nearly 2% of all corporate income tax collected that year. The simple solution to this problem would be changing our tax laws, making tax havens less appealing or even illegal. That's not something that Walmart can do on their own. And ignoring these loopholes is another option, but it's one that's much more difficult for them. Other companies could do it, or who don't do it, could get a competitive advantage over them. However, paying all these taxes would be very beneficial to the communities in which Walmart operates, giving more long-term advantages. With this country's current trend of domestic job revival, a new presidential and congressional agenda could give Walmart a reputation as a company that puts America first. Taking the moral high road isn't easy, but with it, Walmart could provide stable communities to operate in, as well as gaining a positive reputation which they really need. Now Lee is going to go over some of our plan of action and the evaluation of these solutions.
Avoid tax action issue. Walmart set up the Federal Lobbying Office in Bonneville, Arkansas, and Washington, D.C., whose top issue is tax action affair. Second one, Walmart have one retailer as an outside counsel and consultant, the lobby and law firm. The third one, Walmart start companies overseas where tax fees are low and to avoid high taxes. Evaluation of tax action issue. The unethical decision that Walmart made is great and detriment to both organization and community. Although it can make profit in short term, in long term, avoidance means stripping local community of tax revenue, income for government-backed workers, as well as an inevitable change in commercial policy. The manager of Walmart should know that the reputation is very significant for the company. If the company does something unethical and damage social interests, it will damage its own reputation and gain no profit eventually. Now we have Jack to give the final analysis.
Well, there you mostly have it. We have Walmart seems to be taking more of a position of greed and more of a discard for the public good. We've discovered that they are taking illegal bribes in their international enterprises, and that's taking money outside of the United States borders, and it's going for illegal actions. We also find that they're utilizing tax loopholes that takes even more money out of American cities. And then lastly, they produce an ultra-competitive, low-price environment that really hurts domestic suppliers. They're really hurting the markets that they're actually selling in predominantly, and that's a big problem that Walmart needs to address. What Walmart really needs to do is to eliminate the executives who are ultimately responsible for taking these bribes. By doing so, that'll help spur a culture of change, of ethical behavior, which is so important for Walmart being in small towns and cities. Next, they need to work towards stimulating a cultural change for positive decision making, not only on the top, but for their smaller employees in all the regional areas. Next, they need to close the tax loopholes. Although it is tempting, we need to stop taking tax dollars that are going towards helping the community and leaving them in the United States rather than taking them overseas. If they're going to sell in a market, they need that market to be strong in order for Walmart to gain any profit. Lastly, Walmart ultimately needs to invest in the communities that they live in. It is so important for the labor market as well as the customer market that they're really working in. By taking tax loopholes, by taking business overseas, by taking bribes, is really hurting our American economy. Walmart is huge. Walmart has a lot of power. Walmart can do a lot of good, but it seems like right now they're not. We challenge Walmart to take big steps towards more ethical decisions, taking less bribes, closing those tax loopholes, and really putting America first when it comes to the retail market. So we thank you for listening, and have a wonderful day.